The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I can be reached at 631-647-4694, or you can always reach out to me at themainstreetcode.com. And we work with hundreds of financial advisors across the United States, not only insurance professionals, but we work with mortgage brokers, CPAs, attorneys, and they reach out to us for their insurance needs. Our code is choice, organization, direction, and education. And today I opened up Newsday, and there it was on the front page: mortgage rates hit 7%, and big bold letters. And today I'm very happy to have with us a mortgage specialist from Fairway Mortgage, Diego Pinzon. Say hello, Diego.
Thank you so much, Neil. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here.
No, we really appreciate it. And before we leave, we'll give your contact information so people can reach out to you.
Thank you.
Now, Diego and I had a conversation earlier this week about mortgage rates, and I was asking him, we've been talking about how annuities have been going up, just like mortgages. So when you're safe money, we can now give you a guaranteed rate of 5%. If you're worried about the market or this and that, what a great thing to, feel safe and secure. If you can put your money in 4 and 5% money and not have to worry about the ups and downs of the market, and you're near or at retirement, I highly recommend you take some of that investment money off the table and put part of your portfolio in something that is guaranteed going to be there. Or we can give you a guaranteed income for life with some of the annuities we have and protect your assets with life insurance and long-term care. Of course, that's what we do every day. So Diego and I were talking. I said, wow, with these rates going up, I go, what is it that makes you different in the marketplace? And there were two things that Diego said to me that said, you got to come on the radio show. We got to talk about this. So one of the things, he works with a lot of realtors, don't you? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say that that's definitely my primary focus. My primary focus is to talk to the realtors out there, because they're dealing with individuals on a regular basis that are looking to purchase, homes, whether it be first-time home buyers or people that are looking to buy a secondary or an investment piece of property. So in my business, I try to develop those relationships the best that I can. And then, of course, there's other sources of influence that I deal with on a regular basis.
Right. And here's why you want to work with Diego. So I said, well, interest rates are 7%. So what are you doing different in the market? And you just tell me what the difference is.
No, thank you for that. Like we were having the conversation the other day, I think that, we try to think outside the box because there are certain things that are just beyond our control. Rates are what they are. Like you mentioned, you opened up the Newsday today and, 7% rates. When we think about interest rates, when I think about interest rates, when I talk to people internally within Fairway, we look at the 30-year average, and we look at interest rates being at approximately what that 30-year average has been. I think it's certainly more important to talk to someone in regards to what are their wants, and then listen to what their needs are, right? Where do they stand in today's, economic environment in regards to what they do and what they're looking for? And then more important for me is, what are their needs? And for me to be able to listen to those needs so that we can satisfy those needs with the different products and services that we offer through Fairway.
Now, you talk about different products, and that's what really got me excited and interested, because, if I go online and if my kids are looking to buy a house or I'm looking to sell a house, and I know that I can't get the price I could get 6 months ago because the rates are higher, you have to be creative, and you have different product. It's not just like looking and saying, 7%, that's what my product is.
Correct.
Tell me about some of the different products and the different mechanisms that you have, or different strategies that you use to help the realtor, help the clients, help the buyers and the sellers make a deal. Because at the end of the day, realtors are calling you because they want to sell that house. And at the end of the day, they can't sell that house without having the proper financing. So you're an integral part of what they do. And I recommend to everybody, reach out to professionals to help you sell your house, because they know how to be creative to get the buyer and seller together. But they need Diego to make that all happen. So tell me about some of those different products. And how
I certainly appreciate you saying it that way, because my efforts are to educate not only the client, but to educate the realtors so that they know and understand what are some of the different product and services that we offer through Fairway, so that they can accommodate that seller in a better way. They can accommodate that potential buyer in a better way. And then by the time that buyer gets to me, that potential buyer gets to me, I can have a more open conversation, because they already kind of have an idea that the realtor planted the seed the right way. Some of the things that we're talking to realtors on a regular basis right now, and I'm gonna focus on maybe 2 or 3 things that are relevant right now, I think, and they're more specific to realtors. This is certainly not something that we've created, and it's not something that necessarily is brand new. It's been around, and we just kind of dusted it off because it hasn't been needed for some time. There's a concept called the 2x1 buy down. Okay, and there's different versions. You can do a 1% buy down or a 2-1 buy down, but the 2-1 buy down seems to be the most that they're making the most sense in today's world when I talk to a realtor. And what is it? A 2-1 buy down is giving the realtor the opportunity to talk to that seller who has their house in the market, and because of the rate environment and because of the real estate environment that we're currently in, that house is probably not showing or selling as quickly as they wanted it. A couple of months ago, maybe about a year ago, lines were out the door when somebody had an open house.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they were getting offers way beyond where they were asking. Right. And we think we're noticing that some of that is changing slowly. If you're the homeowner and you have your home listed for, I don't know, $500,000, and I'm just using any number. No, I get it. And you're looking, and now you're having this conversation with the realtor and saying, it's not moving, it's not selling, I'm not getting new people, I had open houses, the line is not out the door. So here's a different idea. Instead of you reducing your home, let's say by $50,000 or by $30,000, and taking less money in, the 2-1 buy down benefits them because there's a small fee to be paid in order to have that benefit. Okay, that benefit can go. The fee for that benefit can be anywhere between 2 to 2.5%. It just kind of depends on the scenario. So the amount of money that they're going to be reducing or getting is going to be a lot less than actually reducing the price by $30,000, $50,000 for the house. The benefit to the buyer is that we're, as the lender, going to reduce their interest rate by 2% for the first year. We're going to reduce the interest rate by 1% the second year. And by the third year, they're going to have their normal interest rate, whatever they locked into, for the remainder of the life of that loan.
How's that work?
So it's basically a 2-1 buy down. So the seller, or the buyer technically, but the seller would consider paying, let's say 2.5%, in order for the borrower to have this benefit.
Wow, that's amazing. And I want to talk to you more about that. You're listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. Again, 631-647-4694. And we're talking to Diego Pinzon. And Diego's with Fairway Mortgage. And how can I get a hold of you, Diego?
Thank you, Neil. So I'm located in Freeport, New York.
Okay.
My office is, I normally work directly from my cell phone, and everything that I do, it goes directly to me. My number is 917-710-4097, and my email address is Diego, Diego.Pinzon, Pinzon, at fairwaymc.com.
Fantastic. We'll be right back, folks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. And if you've listened to me before, you know how to reach me. I'm here every Friday at 3 o'clock. And today we're very fortunate to have with us Diego Pinzon from Fairway Mortgage. And Diego and I were just talking before the break. Diego is a mortgage specialist, and more than that, he works with realtors, he works with buyers, he works with sellers. He makes deals happen. And, you know, frightening news, opening up the paper and seeing mortgage rates are at 7%. So sometimes to make a deal, you need to be a little creative. And that's when you want to reach out to Diego. And that's why you don't want to rely on the internet and rely on going to my local bank. You need somebody who's going to get in there with you and find out what your needs are, find out what you're looking to buy, find out, you know, how to buy it, and maybe get you into that house of your dreams where you ordinarily wouldn't be able to get into it. So Diego, before the break, and, you know, I love working with other professionals. And like I say on all my shows, if you don't have the right people, if you don't have a financial team behind you, reach out. I can help be your quarterback and get you to the right people for whatever your financial transaction is. And mortgages is such an important financial tool, even though I specialize in insurance and insurance products. Mortgages are such a big financial tool because, as I heard on another program, or I read earlier this week, for most Long Islanders, I would say 68% of their assets are their home. Would you say that's right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Buying a home or maintaining a home is certainly probably one of the biggest assets that you're going to have in your portfolio. And purchasing a home, especially for the first time, is probably going to be one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make.
Right. So you want to make it right, and you want to pay right, and you want to do right, and you want to have the right experience. And if you look on Google or you go in, you know, and say, oh, let me buy a mortgage. Mortgages are different. There's all kinds of programs. Before the break, we were talking about this 2-in-1 program. I know there's first-time home buyer programs. There's veteran programs. There's all kinds of great programs. Yeah. But I found it fascinating that no matter what your situation is, Diego has some answers. So you were talking about this 2-in-1 program. Can you go into that a little bit more? Because you talked about before the break, and I just want to get the concept down so I can talk about it later. So how does that work again?
Again, the 2-1 buy down program is an opportunity where I can educate a realtor to have a conversation with their seller so that instead of them lowering the price of their home, offer the incentive to pay a much lower amount as opposed to a larger reduction in price of your home, and giving the buyer that benefit of reducing their interest rate by 2% the first year, 1% the second year, and then maintaining their regular interest rate for the remainder life of the loan.
Right.
Think about this, if I may. I'm sorry.
No, please.
When somebody buys a home, especially the first-time home buyer, there's a lot going on. They're thinking about enough money for a down payment. They're thinking about closing costs. They're thinking about moving expenses, new furniture. Maybe they're going from a smaller place to a much larger place. All of that is very costly, and they have to think about those expenses. And stressful, absolutely. The 2-1 buy down, not only is it adding a benefit to the buyer and also adding a benefit to the seller, but it also gives that buyer a sense of relief for those first 2 years where your monthly payments are going to be a bit less, and give you that flexibility to have additional funds available for the upgrades and the moving expenses and the furniture and the things that you want to be able to do, and allow that maybe 24-month period where they have the extra financial liquidity.
And what I see that's huge about this, interest rates go up, they go down. If you go through the history since 1980, I mean, they were as high as 13, 14%. They were down, at 9 and 7. And, I remember when I bought my house, what it was right before the Iran, I forgot what it was. It was some kind of oil deal, and the interest rate shot up right before I bought my home. It was stressful as all heck. But then we refinance. Right. So if you have a 3-year break, and all of a sudden, now's the time when you're buying a house. I mean, houses are still being sold. Yes, they're not being sold like they were. Yes, the prices are coming down a little bit. Nationally, a lot more than here on Long Island. They're still very high, but now happens to be the time where you're buying a house or you're transitioning and you're moving into a house. And you know what? 3 years down the road, if you could buy some time, and then 3 years down the road with a 2-for-1 refinance when maybe the rates aren't as hot or as crazy as they are right now with the inflation and the mortgage pressure. What a great option.
That is,
and there's many others.
Correct.
I mean, there used to be negative AM loans, which I don't even want to get into that. And there used to be no interest, interest only. The banks are now frowned on it. There was problems. But there's creative solutions out there, and you're not going to get it if you dial 1-800-MORTGAGE. If you just go to your local bank and they just give you what that bank has. Yeah. You need a strong mortgage broker like Diego, who's going to give you great solutions. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or even a realtor, that you want a relationship with a guy like Diego because you want to sell that house just as much as the owner wants to sell the house, because that's how you make money, is getting your commission in making that deal happen. And you want to do it. It's tough to do it by yourself. I mean, if you're a homeowner and you think you're going to go out and sell your house by yourself, listen, when the market's going crazy and the demand's high, maybe you could have gotten away with it. But the market has changed, and it changes all the time in an instant. This market has gone from 2% to 7%.
Absolutely.
In a blink of the freaking eye. And not only has that happened, lines out the door, as you said earlier in the program, to, wow, I hope I get somebody to look at my house. So you need solutions, and a mortgage is such a huge piece.
I certainly want to be able to stress in something that you said. I certainly, have a pride in helping individuals, right? And when I talk individuals, I mean everyone. I want to be able to help the realtor that's looking to make the sale on that home, and that they're trying to do the right thing representing that seller. At the same token, they're trying to do the right thing by representing the buyer, that potential person that's looking to move into that house. And I want to be that center of influence, that intricate part of that equation, so that we can have open dialogue in regards to what doesn't work. A lot of times we focus on interest rates, and everybody's, like you said before, they're going on the internet, they're reading newspapers, they're hearing a radio announcement in regards to interest rates. But when I'm really listening to the person's needs, one of the things that I like to do is I like to focus on what is that monthly payment? What are you comfortable with? Right? Because what you are comfortable with today is probably what you're going to be comfortable with tomorrow. Based on the environment, that monthly payment might not get you the house that you were able to get a year ago or 6 months ago. So that's a big part of what I do. So I certainly want to be able to be that center of influence to people. I want to be able to help people and be that direct point of contact. So absolutely
terrific.
Correct.
And I know something else that Fairway does, and you're not quite involved in it as much on what they call the reverse. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's reverse equity lines, this and that. Mm-hmm. But I like to tell people, let's say you have a house and you've had it for 30 years and you're retired. Or maybe, I read about a couple different concepts this week that I thought were very interesting and made so much sense. So let's say you're in that area between 60 and 70 and you just retired. And you're wondering when to take your Social Security. Well, Social Security has been going up, and next year it goes up 8.7% for those of you who are retired. It's a fantastic thing. I really want to get into this topic, but we are running short on time. So anyhow, you're listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. You can always reach me for any questions or comments at 631-647-4694 or visit me at themainstreetcode.com. And my guest has been Diego Pinzon. And how can I get a hold of you, Diego?
Thanks again, Neil. My name is Diego Pinzon. My direct number is 917-710-4097. And my email, it's diego.pinzon, Pinzon, at fairwaymc.com.
Thank you so much, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.